Okay, so welcome back. Again, a little bit different today. I'm calling it a workshop catch up, but the fact of the matter is, as you can see, I'm in a sling. Don't really need the sling at the moment because 2 weeks ago I had a little rotator cuff operation on my shoulder. After 2 weeks I can move my arm around a bit, but it gets tired. So problem is I can't drive for 4 weeks and no heavy lifting for 12. So what's been going on in the workshop, well, basically I haven't been able to do much. So what I thought I'd do is we'll just have a little catch up of what's been going on. But first of all, there's one thing I need to do, and that's to thank all those of you that have subscribed, because I'm now up to the magic 1,000 subscriber mark. Doesn't mean much, but it's a bit of a milestone. So thanks very much for subscribing. But if there's anyone watching that hasn't subscribed, give us a like and remember to subscribe. So last weekend I went along to Race Retro. I've never been to Race Retro before. It always clashed with the Pomeroy Trophy. So as usual, I'm normally lastminute.com in getting my car ready. So I've never actually been to Race Retro, but went to Race Retro last Friday. Absolutely loved it. It was just fantastic. If no one's ever been before, just go along, especially if you like more of the historic type racing. A lot of the historic racing clubs were there. I met lots of people that I know, and I really enjoyed it. One thing I did buy on the Auto Jumble was a new manifold for the Brabham here. I don't know whether this is going to be any better than the one I've got, but what it has got is a support for the carburetor. Because one of the things that I was going to do, if you remember, I've got it's a two choke downdraft Weber, but we only actually use one choke, so one in effect is redundant. And one of the things I wanted to do was actually cut it down, but I haven't actually been brave enough to do that yet. So I'm going to try this and just see what it's like. I'll have a look against my old one, and we'll see. So we might be able to use that. That's the same weekend was also the 1 Litre historic Formula 3 Historic Racing Association. It was their awards dinner, and Jane and I picked up a prize. So we picked up this. It's a special recognition award, and basically we got it for the videos that we put together, especially the 60th anniversary video. So yeah, quite pleased about that, and thanks for the association for giving it to us. Really enjoyed picking that up. A good friend of mine, a racing friend of mine, sadly no longer with us, once said to me, Martin, the key is if you can't win, get noticed. So got noticed, so that's all good. But I think it was Josh watches these videos. He said to me at Dijon, Martin, why historic Formula 3? And I had to admit that I didn't actually know much about the Formula 3 screamers. Obviously I knew what they were, the cars. I knew about the 1000cc and the fact they screamed to 10,000 RPM or anything, but I didn't know much about the history. I didn't know much about the significance that they had in the sport, and I definitely didn't know about the part that they played in the early lives of some future stars. You know, people like just to name a few: James Hunt, Jackie Stewart, Derek Bell. And so when I bought this car, I think I really did luck out, because not only are they good to look at, they're fantastic to drive. And last year we had some absolutely fantastic races for our 60th anniversary. I really do think we put on a show. Racing was close all the way from the front. Well, not that I know much about being at the front, but all the way from the front, all the way to the back of the grid where I was. We had an absolutely fantastic. We had a fantastic season, and it was just good fun. So everyone involved in that, the drivers, the organisers, we got some really good races in last year. So I think we all deserve a pat on the back because I think we did a good job. So yeah, so well done. So one of the things we were desperately trying to get before my operation, I was desperately trying to get some work done on these cars, on these engines. If you remember, we had a 1900. So I've got two here. There's two 1903 Cadillac engines, and we managed to get the crankcases painted, and we managed to get the flywheels mounted onto the crankshaft. So we're a little bit worried about getting the flywheels mounted onto the crankshaft, because when we took them off the old crankshafts, we had to use a really big press to press them out. But they actually went on remarkably easy. In fact, it was too easy in some ways. But what we did is we put these into like an industrial type oven and got them really warm. And then you just used a puller, a threaded bar, and some fairly hefty bits of metal. There you go, those, and just pulled them on. And while they were warm, there was two of us. We had two ratchet spanners, and we just slowly just pushed it on, and both this one and that one just went straight on. So we're really pleased with that. And then that's as far as I got before I had my operation. And then yesterday, a friend Howard, this is his engine. He came up yesterday with his friend, and they actually mounted them in the crankcase, because what we've got to try and do now is we're gonna see if we can balance them. I'm not entirely sure that you can get a single cylinder engine to be entirely balanced, but what we're going to try and do is a static balance with the crank and the flywheel. I took the flywheel up to somewhere, and they balanced the flywheel for me. So basically the flywheel's balanced, and then what you've got is these counterbalance weights that then bolt onto the crank here to counterbalance the throw of the crank here, and then the conrod through. So I'm hoping next week I might be able to get out here in the workshop. I'm not allowed to drive for 4 weeks, and I'm not allowed to do any heavy lifting, but I've got one arm, it's okay. So, but I am being, rest assured, I am being careful with this other one, because it's not the operation was dreadful, but I only want to do it once. I don't want to do something that will damage it. So that's going to be next week's job, is to try and assemble the rest of the engine with me being one-handed. So one of the things that's quite interesting is that these engines have a copper water jacket. So that's the cylinder. So that's the cylinder, and inside is where obviously the piston runs. And so we've had that bored out, and that's all ready for the. But then the water runs in this copper jacket, and originally the copper was annealed, and then it would fit tight on there. We're going to actually try and put some modern silicon on there, and then this is the cylinder head. And to fit the cylinder head, you've got this nut. So this nut has got a left-hand thread and a right-hand thread. So we've got to figure out which way it goes on. So you get that on there, you put that on the top there, and then we've got a special hexagon, massive great Allen key basically, which turn that, and which in turn with the left-hand thread and the right-hand thread pulls that together. So that clamps up tight, effectively to create a waterproof seal. And then, I don't know if you can see this hole here, this hole here. So in that hole there, that's actually, you've got this pipe that runs in, that goes all the way through to the cylinder. And it's basically, when you start that, you open the tap and it puts it on like half compression, if you like. but that also needs to seal as well. So that screws in. That screws into the cylinder. And then we've got that locking nut there. We've somehow got to get a waterproof seal there. So that's going to be quite interesting, I think. But that's next week's job. So that's next week's job. Okay, so there's the Caterham lurking away under there, keeping out the way. I can't wait to get my arm fixed so I can go out and do a few more track days, because I'm sort of like desperate to get back out on track. So yeah, hopefully soon. So if you remember last time we were out in the workshop, we were putting the water pump onto the Napier. Pleased to say that I did take it for a run. It ran very well, and the water pump's not leaking. So that's job done basically on this one. This is absolutely fantastic car to drive. It's not very fast, but well, I say not very fast. It'll do 60. So 1914, it'll keep up with lorries on the A14 or dual carriageways or whatever. So that's a bit of fun. So this car I bought basically because it's one of my favourite cars, and also because hopefully we'll be able to use it on events and be able to drive it to the events and not be able to trailer them. Okay, in the week before I had my shoulder operation, I went to fit a starter motor on a 1924 vintage Bentley, and it belongs to the family that I bought the Napier from. And when I was there, they gave me some paperwork that they'd found, which I think you might find quite interesting. I know I certainly did. So the first one was that one, which is actually the sales brochure from 1914. And in here, it's got all the models of the Napiers that were available in 1914, including that one, which is my car. It's a 30 to 35 horsepower, 6-cylinder, noiseless Napier with torpedo body. And if you look at that's just a side view of it. But if you look at the one over the page, which is actually the same model but with like a limousine body on, it's got the same radiator and headlights and what have you as mine. So that's quite a nice thing. That's quite a nice thing to have. But the other thing they did have was this letter dated 18th of December 1914, and it's from Motor Union Insurance Company Limited. And this was the company that insured the car in 1914. And I haven't got the 1914 certificate, but what I have got is this, dated November 1915, and this is the insurance document for my car, dated the 1st of November 1915, license plate LL1238, make of car Napier, horsepower treasury rating is 29.4, date of manufacture 1914, cost price when new £1,050. Now I do know that this car, when it was new, had all the electric kit on it. So it's got the electric start, it's got all the electric lights and what have you. And they were an option. So they were an option. So in 1914 it had all the bits on it. So that's quite nice. So that's yeah, so I'm pleased with them. So that's yeah, thanks very much for all that. So there we go. That's it for this video. It's a bit of a short one. It's a bit disjointed. It's partly because I can't actually do anything, and I've been sat in the house and sort of like climbing the walls. So I thought I'd come out and have a little look in the workshop just to get my fix, if you like. And so thanks for watching. if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I'm so pleased to be over the 1,000 now. It's a little milestone that I was really looking forward to getting over. Please like this video, and we'll see you all next time. And remember, how hard can it be?